G'day guys, welcome back to the Aussie Gooner channel and welcome back to another yarn. It's been a fucking while, but it had to happen. Another yarn with the lads. We're going to have about a little bit of a chit chat about this and that. Star-studded lineup as per usual. And a little bit of a gap between yarns, so that way when we're chatting, we're not saying the same shit over and over and over and over again. But I'm going to start with my mate here, Scott Borg, the self-proclaimed star from the IFT pod, the man, the myth. Without him, that pod wouldn't exist. How you going, bro?
Doing well, mate. I wish my co-host gave me an intro like that every week. But
well, it's the truth, mate.
You know what? You know talent. That's why I like you.
It's the truth.
But now, look, it's a pleasure to be here with you fellas. Obviously, been a while since our last yarn. And there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to talk about, plenty of positives. Like, can't wait to rip in, boys. Can't wait to rip in.
Awesome, bro. Thanks for being on. I've got the one and only Nigerian Englishman in the building. What are you saying, bro? What are you saying to you people?
Oh yeah now. My people. It's your dark-skinned man from the motherland. If you didn't know before, today you are going to understand. How's everyone doing today, bro? How's everyone doing? We good.
We're doing good. And look,
I'm excited, bro.
Yeah?
I'm excited. You know how I do, bro. When it comes to Arsenal, I'm excited to talk about Arsenal. We just slapped 6 goals in. It's pre-season, but we celebrate everything.
That's it, bro. That's it. I mean, look, and guys, if you guys are jumping on the pod, just jumping on, don't forget the IFT pod. Jump on, check out their content. If you haven't subscribed, check it out. Nigerian Englishman, One Touch TV, I'm on there as well. And to be honest, if you haven't subscribed, don't. No, I'm joking. No, if you haven't subscribe. Trust me, we get up to shits and giggles. And Nigerian Englishman has got a guy on there that I want to take out at the knees. We're going to talk about that later. Now,
we will.
Now, Kenny Ken, last but never least, Kenny Ken, the KO King in the building. It's been a while. How you going, mate? How you going?
I'll tell you one thing, right? In London now, England now, it's like European Championship mania with the women playing Germany. Ooh. So it's just all mad here.
Yeah.
And obviously the Arsenal stuff is really exciting. But I think when you look at our pre-season form, it's actually posing more questions than answers because there's still little things that that there is a bit of concern. Everyone's happy with us going forward. But there's areas of midfield that still concerns, and also most importantly, the right back situation still needs to be looked at as well. So it's one of those things where, if you go by our first few fixtures, it's nice that we're expressing ourselves and we're taking advantage of and we're looking fit. But it's a 38-game season. It's going to be a long season. It's the Europa League as well. Plus, Arsenal ain't won anything for 3 years and they got to start challenging. So, one of the things we may have to discuss is Edu's interview as well, because Edu has said everything that we've been demanding now. So he's as good as said, there's no excuses this season. So we're going to hold him to that.
Exactly. And you know what? You're spot on with that. You're spot on. I mean, we've had a decent preseason, let's be honest, a half-decent preseason. I honestly think the game that has just passed against Sevilla was a decent test, I think. A decent test to this squad. We went out there at full strength, almost, apart from Tomiyasu. But I'm not going to get into like the individual performances. Nah, not yet. What I saw in this game, right, and this is something that I love to see from my team, and I saw bits and pieces of it last season. I hope I see more. I saw passion, this passion from that team, this desire, right? And this togetherness of this team that I haven't seen in a while. And then with all this, I saw the fluidity and link-up play that absolutely decimated Sevilla. Now, I'm hyped about the style of football we played, and it looked like we had another gear. I'm worried about one thing, and I'm wondering, do you guys reckon, add to this, tell me what you guys think of the game, but do you guys reckon that Arsenal can emulate this kind of performance in the Premier League?
Well, look, we can we play our best football when there's no pressure. Yeah. We saw that at the back end of last season. We had pockets of football in the second half of the season where we looked phenomenal, but then we got to those high pressure, do or die, crunch time matches, like the derby at Spurs, and we capitulated. So I know that we're capable of pulling out some brilliant performances, particularly against the smaller teams. And I feel even more confident that we can do that now with additions to our team like Jesus, for example, and Zinchenko. Like, I'm feeling more confident that we can, but what we've got to hope for as Arsenal fans is that this young squad was stung last year, because I know as fans we were. I was devastated that we buckled fourth. Devo, but we need to hope that they were hurt by it as well, and that they've used that hurt to mature and to improve their mentality a little bit. And if they have, then we might be in for a nice season.
You know what? I can agree with you on that. Now, Nigel's sitting here smiling about this. I know he's got something to say. I agree with you. I have a feeling like the transition in football, like when I saw the transition from defense to attack, it was just so smooth. Now, Nigel, you tell me, what are you thinking, bro? Are you thinking that we're getting too hyped? Or, I mean, we did play Chelsea. I'm not going to talk about that, but, you know.
For sure. But for me, just history tells me I will never get hyped about preseason. I just won't let myself do it regardless. I've seen us beat like PSG 6-2 in the Emirates Cup before and stuff, and we didn't win F4 that season. So I never get too carried away. But when I watch preseason, I'm looking for specific things. Who's looking sharp? What combinations are we putting in place? What's going to be our kind of starting lineup? I'm looking to see those things, and I've learned that it's pretty clear that whoever started the first half yesterday is going to be our starting 11 against Crystal Palace. I'm sure that's pretty clear to see now with how Arteta's done things. What I did like to see was the hunger. Like, what I was surprised about is how hungry he was in pre-season, and that's Gabriel Jesus, because he looks hungrier than, and he's just won the Premier League, by the way. He looks hungrier than anyone in our starting 11 to get started. And that for me is really, really exciting. And for me, just like Scott was saying, we proved ourselves last season. We can put together good performances. We have a solid 11, but it's that mentality thing that is the next level. And I know Arteta has a lot of his critics, but he could have potentially done something genius this summer. Even though I still think we have business to do before the window closes, the genius thing he's done is bring in two players that have seen him perform at a high level and believe in the words that he says. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
two winners.
Zinchenko and Jesus are already, they're winners, and they've seen him work in a winning environment. So anything he's been telling these young boys for the last 2 seasons, Jesus and Zinchenko were like, yeah, of course, you have to do that, or you can't win. So that probably makes his voice louder in the change room. So I hope this can help improve the mentality of the whole squad. But as you said, I'm not getting too excited because I still think we're 2 players short for me being comfortable about the top 4 thing. But either way, even if we don't get them, Arteta no get any excuse this season, bro. Nothing.
That's my man. That's what I want to hear. I don't know, Kenny Ken, what are your thoughts?
Well, the thing about the whole situation is as Nigerian Englishmen have said, and Scott has said, we've been here so many times before. Even during the Arsene Wenger days, we were excellent in pre-season. We're quite good in pre-season as well under Mikel. And this has been, exciting for fans. That we're scoring goals. We're not conceding very much as well. Fans are excited about Saliba because, a lot of fans feel that he was treated unfairly. And, there's this sort of battle between Saliba and Benjamin White. That is a question that is going to be posed when, if we say Tomiyasu gets fit. It seems like Cedric is not his number one right back, or maybe he's trying to put a square peg round a round hole at right back in order that Ben White still gets a game.
Yeah,
because and Saliba still gets a game because he, the fans have been calling for Saliba. He's liked what Saliba's doing alongside, Gabriel, but he bought Benjamin White for £50 million. So that's a square peg and round hole. We still need a right back. The midfield situation is an area that wouldn't have caused me concern during pre-season, but against opposition as well. Because if you look at Crystal Palace, if I was Crystal Palace right now, I'll be telling Zaha and and Mitchell get down that right hand side.
Yeah.
Attack that right hand side. Benjamin White against Chelsea, they struggled there. Saka doesn't want to be,
he doesn't want to run back.
He
He doesn't want to cover too much.
He doesn't run back. He wants to come back. So that's an area that was causing me concern because Crystal Palace are going to look at that. They know Arsenal and they know their players. And the midfield again, if you take out Thomas Partey out of midfield, it's gone. I don't care what no one says.
Scary.
I tell you now, this little partnership that everyone's enjoying between Xhaka and Odegaard don't happen without Partey.
Exactly.
Because the thing with Partey's the glue that says, right, don't worry about the back four. I'll pick
the anchor
up. Don't worry about coming for the ball. I can take it on the back four. And you know what? If you guys are caught in the middle, I can run past you and can get in the end of chances because he's actually showing glimpses of his form, Atletico Madrid form. So he's a very important player for us because whether we like it or not, the biggest issue within Arsenal fans is that Granit Xhaka is still a go-to, mate. Even when we know he's very limited. He's very limited in terms of what he can do. We know he's an excellent deep line playing midfielder. And we know he's got a great football brain. When we're out of possession, he knows to go left back.
He's good.
Yeah, and he knows to go in those positions. But the problem is, we have a problem when he's the last man.
Yeah.
No,
he has a problem when he's got this last man.
And this is something that's been prevalent in the last 3 or 4 years. And even when Arsene was there, when he's the last man. Now, that's not his fault. He ain't got no pace. But when he's the last man, when he tries to take one for the team, he's either getting sent off or he's giving away a penalty. So that's an issue where we need athleticism outside. But because the problem with the top four is, and the reason why I'm angry and disappointed about not getting it, because it's not a top four no more, it's a top six. And there's only 4 Champions League places. And we know that only Liverpool and Man City are getting those 2 places. So basically, you've got 4 teams for 2 places. That's why it's imperative next season. We're getting gassed. We're enjoying ourselves about the pre-season. But let me tell you something now. When it comes to like the Premiership, it's going to be a different game, different ball game. They know Jesus. They know what he can do. Even though he had limited opportunities, they know what he could do. And, the point that, Nigerian Englishman made about these guys knowing Arteta, that's an excellent point. But the problem we've had before, when we've had players who've come from teams that have won big trophies like Champions League and, like the Premiership, i.e. from Chelsea, Man City, is that they haven't been able to bridge that gap in the field and show leadership. Off the field, I've heard that they're excellent. Petr Cech, from what I've heard, was brilliant with the young players. So is David Luiz off the field. But in terms of the influence on it, they weren't greatest.
Wouldn't you say that those 2 particular players, by the time they came to Arsenal, had reached their use-by date and passed it? Like Petr Cech was sort of already out the door. Willian just wanted to stay in London and get paid, if you know what I'm saying. And it was like, well, I'll go over there.
You think about it. If you take away Birmingham City and, his autobiography, William Gallis is really good for us.
Yeah.
Really, but the problem is that Birmingham City...
Birmingham City was the end for him.
Yeah, and that was it. That was his Armageddon. And then what happened is the ex-players basically forced him out of captaincy. People like Perry Groves, who I get on really well. Oh, he's not my captain. And then it was a case of the club looking for one bit of stupidity, his autobiography. He lost the captaincy. He's the only player, I think, that had that tradition. And remember, he came to us when he was about 28, 29. So he still had a lot of football play. But I get you what you're saying. Petr Cech, mid-30s, 33 when he came over, won everything at Chelsea, wanted to stay in London. And Willian,
even David Luiz.
Another year. Yeah, David Luiz as well. But Willian just wanted... David Luiz has actually worked his nuts off for us, but we just saw him as a Chelsea guy. And you know what I mean? But in terms of Willian, we just gave him an extra year of his contract that Chelsea wouldn't give him. If Chelsea gave him a 3-year contract, he would have stayed there.
Oh, yeah, all day.
That's just facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all day.
And I think that's the whole situation regarding pre-season. We've been here before. We know there's a top 6 where, unless UEFA change their minds, there's only 4 Champions League places. So it's going to be just as hard as it was last season. That's why we need to strengthen those 2 areas where, I'll tell you now, it won't look like it in the first few games of the season, But starting from Man United, if they get their act together and other teams who will have a go at us, that will be areas that's going to kill us.
Kenny, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't want to sound arrogant in any way, shape, or form, but
No.
I personally can't see Man U touching the top 4 this season. Personally, I just think there's too much for them to do. I think it's between us, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Personally, it's not even a hopefully thing.
You know what? The funny thing is, and it's quite perverse, is that when Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't there, and Man United were just playing off the cuff without any tactics, they got into the top 4 quite comfortably.
No.
But when he came to the side where it was all based around one player, then they struggled. Because remember, when they got the top 4, they had goals from everywhere. You know, Fernandes, you know, Mason Greenwood. The less said about him, the better. And I think those are issues where I suppose they had other options, not just the one option. I think that's the situation. But if there's any manager that's going to get Man United in the top 4, it'll be him, because he won't stand for any nonsense at all. And he too will get his own players in, because I think the thing with Man United is that they're on their day, they beat anyone. And I think that's what makes them still dangerous. And I think we're in that sort of category where, even though we made some improvements, they say, we're on that category where on our day we're dangerous. Our home form has to be, you know, perfect. Next to perfect. We need to stop. We need to start beating Liverpool, Man City, because
you Kenny, think about it. You're like reading my mind today, bro.
Yeah.
Because you think about it. We didn't get a point against both those sides. Now you think if we just got back 2 points, that could have got us in top 4. Yeah. So that's where we've got to improve on. You know what I mean? Home and away, we got nothing out of those games. Nothing.
I need a win out of one of those 4 games, Ken. I'm not going to lie to you. This season, I need at least one win. I'm not saying we're going to win both of them, all of them, but I just need one, because it's embarrassing. How many years have they taken points off us?
Yeah.
If you want to win the league, you've got to beat at least one, beat them at least once, home and away. If you want to win the league, so the top 4, you've got to beat them.
I think we're in for a unique. I think we're in for a very unique season, though, boys. I was only thinking about this today. I think this season, more than any other in recent history, and I'm probably stating something super obvious, but I think this one is in particularly going to be impacted by injuries and fitness.
Oh, yeah.
When you factor in that World Cup,
big time.
We know that World Cups, you know, players have to put a lot in physically, mentally, and the players that we get back from the World Cup, because we'll be heavily represented there, you know, we really need to avoid injuries or, you know, damage to our players from there. Because when I look at our squad, while we've boosted really well, we're still 1 or 2 injuries away from calamity. That's where my worry is. We lose Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, right? And obviously Partey's the more important.
Yeah.
We've got Mo,
the latter.
Mo and Ainsley Maitland-Niles starting.
What's wrong with Sambi Lokonga?
Wait, hold on. Maitland-Niles cannot be at my club start the season. Please don't do it. Please. For me, the whole Maitland-Niles thing died.
Sold him when we had the opportunity.
I wanted him to get given a chance, but the fact that he saw how weak we were in January and he forced the move, for me, I don't respect that. So Maitland-Niles needs to jog on. And Scott, also from what Scott was saying, we can't forget that after the World Cup, because of COVID, African Nations is going to be next year as well. So that's Partey at least going there. So if we don't get a replacement now, he's got to play World Cup, Premier League, and African Nations in the space of 6 months.
Lokonga's not there yet.
Crazy.
He's not there.
Lokonga is nowhere near there.
He's going online, isn't he? Is he going online, Lokonga?
Nothing's happened yet. I've not heard anything.
There has been a chat about loan, but then of course it's just hearsay. It's like Sambi Lokonga opting for loan, and it's just linked with team after team after team. I mean, Tavares is gone, but at the moment, I think we can all see that the centre midfield, now that we've all pointed it out, is probably the most important position for us to fill now in the 11. And the position I've been screaming for is Granit Xhaka's position, which is the 8. So then Thomas Partey can slot into the anchor role that we all saw him play against Sevilla. Do you get what I'm saying? And play it fluid and be the same Thomas Partey that we've seen in his highlight reel before he came to Arsenal. I honestly think that Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka the pairing in the midfield in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it. It's good because of Partey, though. It's not because of Xhaka. It's because Partey's got so much to his bloody game. He's more than just a defensive midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder. He's a complete midfielder. The only problem is I think the strain of the Premier League takes it out of him. And I think at the moment, that number 8 role, for me, is one of the most important positions to fill, and why we are taking so long to fill it. That's the question. That's my question.
Is right there.
Why are we guys? Can you guys answer this one? Why are we dragging our feet on Tielemens? Because I'm telling you, it's not because it's just started the speculation. I've been screaming about him last year. You can ask for Kenny Ken. I've been screaming about Tielemens since last year.
Is it Leicester? Isn't Leicester part of the problem?
Yeah, they want 40. Was it 40?
Yeah.
And we want
in last year's contract. But you know, because what's happened? We are trying to look elsewhere in Panqueta as well. But in terms of Tielemens, we're not talking about a mega world class player. But when I look at football over the years, you want someone who can fit that system, and you want someone who you think can boss the midfield, and can add that kind of athleticism. Tielemans been playing for a move since the beginning of last season. He was Leicester are not offering him a new contract. He's not signed a new contract. The problem is that I don't know about you, but have you heard of Leicester making any signs this season? Because I haven't. No,
they haven't, and that's why I think he wants to do this, because he probably got a sniff of it last season, knowing that they weren't going to be active.
Yeah, but could Leicester be saying, right, you'll go? Because remember, Schmeichel's meant to be going to Nice. Until we get our replacements in, then we'll let you two go. So it could be that.
Well, I mean, we've got a replacement for them. We've got Leno sitting there, right? We can do a deal. Have some Leno.
That would be a perfect deal.
Have some Leno.
What if Fulham has said to Leno, you're staying in London, you don't have to uproot, and by the way, we're offering you 200 grand. Because we know you want 200 grand because you're scared in case we get...
Fulham ain't going to offer him 200 grand. Fulham offer him 200 grand.
I hear you what you're saying.
It's a London thing, though. It's a London thing.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not. And the thing about it, I know loads of footballers, right, who play for Aston Villa and Leicester, still live in London. But,
it's the vibe, the life.
They as far as they're concerned, they want a life, because London's the most cosmopolitan city in this country, in the UK. Although Manchester, I've been in Manchester, it's just as cosmopolitan as London, but it's a London thing.
A little bit worse there, that's why.
Well, yeah, Spanish restaurants, Spanish bars, Portuguese restaurants, Brazilian stuff, salsa, anything you want, you get it. Nigerian, jollof rice.
So you're telling me I've got to come over? Is that what you're selling right now? I've got to get on a fucking plane and come over and stop fucking about? Because this guy's selling it, man.
But I'll tell you one thing. You remember someone I was with you and Scott, and I was talking about your accents as opposed to what's Marty's accent. Marty's accents, and you're all from like the Sydney area. But I guess that like Sydney's just as cosmopolitan. Well, London's just like that as well, where the accent is different. It's not like My Fair Lady in London. My guy English Nigeria. It's not like My Fair Lady, or it's not. People in London do not. It's not My Fair Lady. Even dare I say it, the white Englishman or the white European does not speak like My Fair Lady. They all have a same sort of like youth accent. So that's why it's most cosmopolitan. You still get the regional accents in Manchester, Liverpool, and all these other countries. But in London, the My Fair Lady accent is just gone.
It's done and dusted.
It only happens in the
doesn't exist no more.
The Palace, mate. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, look, this centre.
You see the central midfielder thing.
Yeah,
though,
I was going to say that. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a lot of questions because yes. Getting Tielemens, I don't mind. I'm 100% up for that. But let's say they said to you, we can only make 2 more signings this window. You can either have Tielemens and a winger, or cover for Partey and a winger. Which option are you picking?
Okay, can I have it that? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm saying a winger and Tielemens.
Okay, Scott, are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, for me, it's a winger and Tielemens.
Wow.
Penny, you know what? I want Tielemens, but the thing is, Thomas Partey is scary about him.
It is
scary about him. The problem is that the problem is, even if you get your winger and Thomas and the replacement Thomas Partey of Tielemens, you still got the issue at right back, because as much as we got issues, we haven't got really issues with Tommy Asu because he works his nuts off.
That's why we had issues.
The problem is, whether we like it or not, he's a centre back who can play right back.
Yeah,
that's still not an orthodox right back that we need.
Even with what you were saying about a replacement for Thomas Partey, see, for me, I think we really missed a trick on Basuma. Like, I think that was a massive miss, but he's gone.
Yeah, but he'd have to start. He'd have to start. Basuma is not going to sit on his ass.
Who do you bring in then?
I don't know, you know.
Who's your replacement for Thomas Partey? Because it's easy to say, but to actually replace him is a completely different story.
Okay. Now, this is where I'm going to come into this, and you guys are going to think to yourselves, bullshit, right? Thomas Partey, right, with a number 8 beside him, sits back as an anchor. Or a good number 8, he'll sit back as an anchor, and he'll actually get to be in his strength, where he can transition the ball forward, but sit there, more of a defensive mid who can move the ball, other than like Basuma, who can't move the ball. But we won't get into that. We won't get into that because Partey's better. Now, if I have Tielemens sitting in the number 8 role, I've got Granit Xhaka sitting on his ass. I got Mohamed El Neni sitting on his ass. Mohamed El Neni, everyone underrates him. I know what you guys are going to say, but as a defensive mid, he is not bad. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying it's like for like. I'm not saying it's the exact same player, which you're not going to get. You're not going to get, like we were discussing before, Scott, about strikers. You're not going to get a high-end striker to sit on the bench for a high-end striker on a pitch. Now, if you have a Tielemens who can move the ball forward and play that box-to-box role, and El Neni's allowed to sit back and cover, then you're going to have a makeshift midfield, but a midfield that can still get you a result. That's all I'm saying, but not over.
Ozzy, you know what? You're right, but do you think my issue is that when El Neni comes in, the level drastically drops
because of Xhaka.
Because he's coming in for Partey, so the levels dropped. Do you get what I'm saying? Regardless, but El Neni, I couldn't ask any more of El Neni last season. Don't get it twisted. Like, he gave us everything in the last half of the season, but it just isn't enough. Do you get? He's good for like 2 games back to back. If you ask him to do a 3rd game playing well, that's too much for him. No offense to him, but that's just how his career's gone. So I need someone that I can rely. I wouldn't mind spending a little 30 million on Benacer, bro. He's just won Serie A with AC Milan.
That's a good shout.
He played 30 games last season. He came through our academy. Like, sometimes, depending on the team we're playing, we might even play him and Partey in the pivot. You never know, depending on what we need. And I believe that would be the safest bet. I've heard things like I've heard a few other French defensive midfielders, African French midfielders in league. I don't know anything about like Onana, and I think there's another guy called Fofana or something like that. I don't know, man. But for me, I know more about Benacer than any of those other 2 I named. So I think that's a 30 mil safe bet. And in terms of what Kenny was saying, I just don't see us fixing every issue.
No.
Even though I would love to have a right back, from how we've performed in pre-season with Ben White, the Cedrics, and we've got Tommy Asu, I can't see him fixing that one this summer. I think we'll go into it at some point, but this summer that's the one I think we're gonna sacrifice. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. But if we can get DM cover and a winger, for me, I'll be okay with that. As much as I want Tielemens, I'll be at least relaxed that I know when Partey goes for AFCON or he's injured, we've got someone that can step in and the level doesn't drop too much. Well, that's just me.
That's a good shout. It's a good shout. It's a definite good shout.
You know what? Sorry, the biggest elephant in the room when we're all talking, when we're talking about improvements, is the outgoings as well. Because that is part of our business as well. Because one of the biggest elephants in the room is Nicola Pepe. We want it because
I'm going to get to that.
You think about it. But just to start you off.
Got ideas.
We talk about Nicola Pepe. He's still the most gifted player we have at the football club. And I say it once, say it 1,000 times. Heads have got a role that someone at Arsenal Football Club, I don't know, it'll start with the coach, that you couldn't get the best out of our most expensive sign when he's got that amount of talent. Was he really that bad? All right, I know off the ball.
Yeah.
Even though I'm Arteta's biggest critic, I agree with him on footballing wise. I've been at games and I've seen Arteta shout at him and
Get
or
back!
shake his head.
What are you doing?
Possibly. You know what I mean? And I even noticed it when under Emery, when we played Watford, when we were 2-0 up and they drew 2-2. I looked at my guy Pepper and I went, right, he's not working hard enough, mate. We're under the cosh here. He's not doing much after the ball. He's ball watching. He's like bunching up and everything. And I said, please let that improve. And I gave him a buy, but he's still doing that. And I thought, with this manager now, that is an elephant. And there's other ones as well. Balogun's an issue, but you said you're coming to that, so I'll let you take charge of that one.
See, now Nigel said, would you rather a centre midfielder or a winger, right? And we all talked about our centre midfielders. Now I'm going to ask you guys when it comes to the wings, right? I've had ideas, and this player's been on the back of my mind for a while, but I haven't said it. But you know what? I'm going to come out and say it. I know we've got the left wing, we've got the right wing. We're not going to talk about the mad pass from fucking Martinelli to fucking Jesus for that second goal because that was primo. But we'll talk about the left wing, we'll talk about the right wings. And we're talking about depth in these positions because I think we all know that we do need a winger, right? A winger. Not maybe two. It would be great for two, but we'll only get one.
I hope last night hasn't changed your decision on this winger thing.
No. It hasn't. No. That's never going to change. But I've got something that I wanted to add to it, but I didn't, and I should have. Now, Martinelli, me and Nigel have spoken about this, and we've had it on this pod, and it's a fact. He's a good winger, but do we have to look for another left wing? And the two options that I come up with, right? One for a starting role and one for a bench. So one for depth and one to start. On the left, okay, was Marco Asensio, which I cannot stop talking about because this is the kind of guy that can play in the middle of the park or the left-hand side. And the other one that maybe everybody will probably say no way is Trossard. Now, why I say Trossard, right? Off the bench, Trossard can do bits. Trossard's the kind of player that has fucking been a thorn in our side in games. He didn't have the worst season last year. He's the kind of player we can get cheap. I'm not saying he's going to replace Martinelli. I'm going to say he's going to be a backup too. If not, who? What do you guys reckon?
Is that what we're going to do, Ozzy?
I'm going to do it.
Are you going to try and claim Trossard and not like he's not my guy?
Is he your guy now?
Your guy.
Is it?
Trossard's my guy.
Trossard's
not pretend. Let's have to watch the tapes. Right?
No, I'm not. Trossard's your guy. Would you?
Now, for me,
because it depends on what you do here. Like what kind of player you want here.
No, he's your guy, man. I want to hear your thoughts. He's your guy. You go.
For me, Trossard right now is going to give me more goal contributions than Martinelli from the left-hand side. For me, he can play left and right. I'll let you land. He can play left and right.
He can play in the middle of the park too, a little bit.
Exactly. He could even do that false nine thing as well. So, and he's not going to need time to get into the mix.
Cheap.
He's going to. I believe he's one of those players that I've been at Brighton in a kind of developing team where I can go and raise my level, raise my profile in a big team. And he's 27, so this is probably his last chance of a big move. 27, 28.
Would it be expensive?
It wouldn't be expensive. I think he got 15 goal contributions last season.
8 goals to himself.
Player scored against both us. He scored against Arsenal, Man U, and Tottenham last season. So I don't know, man. I believe Martinelli would be under pressure if Trossard was there, and I want him to be under pressure. I don't want him to feel comfortable like he has that left-sided cemented because he's still too young. And we've seen what's happened to players that we give too much confidence too early, like Iwobi, like Coquelin. They never really got to that next level because we were playing them we relied on them too early in their careers.
It was easy.
And I think the hunger kind of died in them. That's what I think. That's Trossard. Scott, what you got to say about that?
Yeah, but you know what? You look then at someone like Bukayo Saka. We've relied on him, and he's done bits, and he's been able to elevate his game. Well, I when I look at Martinelli, I genuinely feel he is one of our best players. I genuinely feel that way about him. I think he hasn't had that consistent run that he's deserving of. I mean, even last season, there were times when Smith Rowe was being played out there and all of that. He needs
start of the season. Yeah.
At the
Give him
start
a
of the
start.
season, yes, he was given. It was like back and forth, but there was a stage where Arteta said, "You know what, Martinelli, you're my man." I think it started from the West Ham game
After
where
ESR got
Daniel
injured.
Lacker put him through. Yeah, so he had
Yeah,
a run, bro.
no.
Let's not do that.
Look, to me, I'd take him Trossard as depth, but he's not dislodging Martinelli from this team. There's no way. There's no way. Martinelli needs to be starting for me. I think he offers. He's a good finisher. Good finisher. He's building some really good chemistry with the guys around him. I think to sign someone to dislodge him. No, I wouldn't have even taken. I'm going to put it on record. I know I'm going to shock you all. I didn't want Rafinha. I did not want Rafinha. I don't want Martinelli's development being stifled.
Me and Nigel both went.
Okay, but
He's
Scott,
going
you
to
know
take
what I'm
that
saying?
next step.
But Scott, this is what I'm saying. This is why we're stuck in this small club mentality. We're talking about not like making because of players' development. We're holding back quality signings. It doesn't make sense, man. I want to win. I'm a fan, bro. I don't care if Martinelli can't step up his game. I don't care, bro. Good jog on, bro. You either step
We'll
up
see if he can.
and
We'll
keep
see.
Trossard out of the side, or Trossard takes your place and you were never good enough anyway. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. I'm not sentimental when it comes to this. I'm Arsenal first, not players. I don't support players. I support
You're not emotionally involved.
You know, both you've got good points, but judging, we can only go by what I don't really listen to what Arteta says, but I only listen to the titles, and it says we're still going to need more players. And judging by what Edu says, we still need more players. If we're going to be the club and a team that we should be, given our size, our history, then players, we have to be signing players like Rafinha and players like Trossard who can change these guys for their places just as good. Because the simple reason is that Man City do it, Liverpool do it. You can't just give players a run in the side where, because basically you're giving them time. Edu specifically said this season, there's no more time, there's no excuses. Now we've been saying it for a lot of your time, and we've had like rotten tomatoes and rotten fruit and eggs that have gone off about 3 years thrown at us because of our opinions. So the thing is that it's all. Miley a great player, but he needs all our players need pushing. Saka needs pushing, Jesus needs pushing. We need pushing as well because we are going to be playing a lot of games next season. I reckon if we with the demands that Edu's put on us and demands that I always put on a football club, we're talking about 60 games. So with 60 games, you're going to need some sort of thing because sort of reinforcements because what we did at Saka last season wasn't the greatest. Yeah, he stepped up, but there were times when he was limping off the field, pushed him on the field because we need him so badly. That's how little, in my opinion, we thought of Pepe because he wasn't injured that much. So
he wasn't.
We have to assume that Pepe hasn't worked out. We're going to have to sell him for 30 million. But if players like Trossard's available,
you get that.
Fuck, that's rich. I'll take 30 million.
All right,
Dude,
if I'm being generous, 25, I'm being generous. But all I'm saying is that you do need these players. These youngsters have to be pushed. They have to be pushed for their places. And if they're good enough, then they'll fight. If you think about when Abramovich first came to the football club, everyone was worried about players like Terry and Lampard being a casualty. But what they did is they responded to the signings came and raised their game. And that's what we want for. Because remember, you've got a situation now with Emil Smith-Rowe. He can't get a game.
Yeah.
He's fully fit now. He was, when you were talking about Martinelli getting a side, it was actually Newcastle when he came on and scored that great goal. And that gave him his first thing. So Emil Smith-Rowe, even though we've seen that song, Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, status quo song. The fact is, Emil Smith-Rowe has to respond now to the competition from players like Odegaard and the fact that we've got, Vieira and all that, because we know I think that Emil Smith-Rowe's best position isn't on the left. He's useless. His best position is on the sort of like
midfield,
just off the front two. And when we're on the counter-attack, he's our best because he's a strong runner. He's the one who can finish shots on the counter-attack. So that's his best position. You know what I mean?
Kenny,
but
in regards to Smith-Rowe, were you expecting like me, like when Odegaard came in, for me, I was just under the impression that him and Smith Rowe would battle out the number 10 spot.
Yeah.
When we need
Yes.
something different in the
Yes.
game, we'll go with ESR. When we need something different, we'll go with Odegaard. That's what I thought.
It's still the case now. But the thing is that Martinelli is made himself the number one in that position, and so second. And the thing is, right, is that one of the things that we've been doing a lot last season when they're both inside is stretching size, make the pitch bigger. Make the pitch bigger and overlaps. Obviously, you don't get the overlaps for Tomiyasu, but we try to get overlaps with Cedric. You get overlaps from like Zinchenko. You get overlaps from Tierney. So if you can make the pitch bigger, make it wider, the ball moves quicker, centre halves on their back foot. Now with Smith Rowe, it's not happening. No matter how much we try to do it, it's better with Martinelli because Martinelli can either stand still, make a pass, or go in and take a player out because they're worried about Tierney. Smith Rowe can try to do it, but that's not his position. So, in what I'm saying, his game's a bit different. So, when you talk about getting the wingers in as well, not only that will make us stronger. Because, like I said, I wanted Rafinha because I was actually going to cancel Martinelli by saying Rafinha on the right and Saka on the left. So Scott would have killed me anyway.
That's what I was saying. I was saying that. Nigel was saying it. I was saying it.
Leave my boy alone, man.
You see that?
Leave my boy alone.
Scott, you don't want to win. Is that what it is?
No, you know what? I think you're unfairly targeting a player who's been significantly better than a lot of others. Like, mate, if we're going to target players that maybe we could upgrade, let's look at Gabriel at the back. He's been very shaky at times, both him and Ben White. I would be talking about those two before Martinelli. I think Martinelli offers us some kind of goal threat, and he was playing with a very poor midfield behind him as well, and with basically no one in front of him. So, well, he had Lacazette in front of him, so he wasn't able to produce much with Lacazette. Then Eddie came in, did all right. I just think if we're going to hang someone out to dry, I don't think it's Martinelli. A guy who's been widely praised by someone like Klopp, who knows his way too.
Not hanging him out to dry. Not hanging him out to dry, but knowing that
Trossard does not dislodge Martinelli no matter what.
Remember I said Trossard for depth, Asensio to start?
Depth, yeah.
But players like that don't have to dislodge some because, you look at Liverpool's front three, the only person who got really dislodged out of that front three was
Firmino.
With Firmino.
Yeah.
But what's happened? Salah and and Mane won't get dislodged. But what happened is that if anything happened to them or they had a rest or get injured, the quality didn't diminish. The quality wasn't a step back. And I think that's when you talk about players like, that mentioned, like, obviously Rafinha would have been a bit different. But, when you're talking about Trossard and you're talking about Asensio, you don't want a gap of quality to be that wide when you're injured. Exactly. Look what happened with Tierney and Tavares. Look what happens with the Conga and Partey. And I think, I'm demanding, and it's probably in the impossible, but I think if Arsenal want to get top four, they need 3 or 4 players to score 15 goals or more in the league. And then Martinelli's one of those players that I want to see more goals from. Obviously, because we don't know, and that is where, if that was to happen, I don't want a gap. I don't want it to be even a gap. I just want to say, well, like for like, no
quality
problem.
For quality, yeah.
that'd be good.
Scott. Now, you know what, Scott? Scott's got it a little bit. Go on, Scott. Scott, I was confused because we're not saying Martinelli's not a good player. We're not saying that he's not done well. But this is my thing with Martinelli, right? I long term don't even see him as a left winger. I see him developing into the middle because
Number 9.
Because he literally, other than pressing and he's a good finisher, he doesn't really give us a lot creatively on that wing. Great ball in the Emirates Cup yesterday. Don't get that. I was surprised to see that ball to Jesus because he doesn't normally deliver like that.
Dude.
But creatively, he doesn't give us a lot from that wing, which is why I wanted a more winger type that's good at crossing, finding his man, eye of the needle passes. And to be honest, Scott, just like you, what I would rather happen is Martinelli sees him as like, yo, is this guy coming to take my place? All right, watch. Let me show you what I'm on. And like, I'm all for that. I'm really all for that. But I'm never gonna not buy a player because of another one's development. Because right now, Martinelli doesn't start in any of the top 4 sides, bro. That's the facts, isn't it? And that's not saying he's a bad player. but he doesn't. So if we're really looking to get from the developing team that we've been for the last 3 years into being in conversations, we need that sort of depth where Trossard can come in and do a job. So Martinelli now knows he can't have bad games like he did last season because someone's ready to take his place. And the reason why I wanted Rafinha is because that would have made Martinelli and Saka scared, both of them. No matter how good Saka is, I don't want him to feel comfortable either. I want him to be like, look, although I'm the star boy, this guy's come in and scored 3 goals in the last 2 games. Like, what's going on? I need to raise my game too. Do you get?
You see it with Jesus. You see it with Jesus now. He's come to Arsenal, and what is he doing? He's fucking coming out there and saying, I'm going to do bits, 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 I'm going to try to fucking do the best I fucking can so no one is looking around anymore. And that's just Jesus. I honestly like the idea of having more depth in our squad. I always like the options when it comes to players and such, right? My look on Trossard was always back and forth, and I thought to myself, could we, couldn't we? And now that it looks like we're not going to get a wing, I keep looking at him thinking it's a cheap option, it's a good option. And then I look at our right wing, right, in Saka. And I know that we've got the new Patrick Vieira who's fucking injured before anything's happened, right? And that scares the living shit out of me. We got ourselves a player in a fucking casket. Right. Fucking casket match, bro. I swear, bro. This guy got tombstone before he came to fucking London. So, bro, no, seriously, cuz. And it's like, yes, I wasn't injured. Fuck off. I swear, bro. And so I look at that and I think, all right, Saka at the moment has got Reece Nelson, Nicola Pepe, who's apparently not rated, and we've got a guy who's going to be in a wheelchair trying to play the right wing, right? I look at that and I think, I'm not fucking too gassed about the right-hand side either. And that's what scares me as well, because Saka ran out of pace, and he will this season. The options that are out there are slim. We have got a right wing at the moment, but there's one player that I watched before he came to the Premier League, right? Unfortunately, came to the Premier League, but not to us. Because we're shit and we don't open our eyes. And he's now moving out from the Premier League on loan, and that's Hakim Ziyech. Now, Hakim Ziyech is a player that most people would look at and say, oh, he hasn't hit the ground running at Chelsea. Can I say one thing? Nobody hit the ground running at Chelsea. No one. Everybody was fucked with Chelsea. It's a player that when he wasn't in the Premier League, was doing bits. A player that I watched fucking absolutely carve it up. Now, when he comes on for Chelsea, this is the kind of guy who can ping a ball, who's creative, and most Chelsea fans will tell you he is a creative footballer. But right now, he's going on loan to AC Milan. Now, I know Chelsea would not be thinking about loaning him to Arsenal, but apparently it's a loan with an option to buy. Would Hakim Ziyech, at £27 million, 28 million apparently, be a bad fucking signing for Arsenal?
Yes.
You reckon?
Terrible signing.
You reckon he'd be horrible, that bad? Why is that?
For me, like, you see the Everediz, as much as I love the league, it's not really the most competitive. So when I looked at Ziyech's game, I always saw him, if he does come to the Prem, I see him doing bits as a 10 through the middle, because I don't think he's got the power and pace to do the wing stuff like he does in Ajax. So there was a time where we were looking for a 10. Remember, I don't know if it was Emery's second
2 years ago
or something like that. Yeah. Like, and if we'd got him then and played him as a 10, I would have been so for that. That would have been a great move, because you can see his movement, the passing you're talking about. He's got that. He can finish. He can score goals. But for me on the wings, I just don't think the Premier League's for him, innit? Personally, that's why. That's my opinion. He's a great player, though.
Yeah. Hey, English Nigerian. He's thinking about the fact that Tadic at Southampton couldn't score more than 5 or 6 goals, and he goes to Ajax. He's breaking the scoring record.
Here we go.
As soon as you mentioned the Eredivisie, I'm thinking he's talking about Dusan Tadic, isn't it? About him not being able to hit a barn door at Southampton, although he scored a few good goals, and then going to Ajax. Was it 30 goals he scored in one season?
Yeah. He's now the captain, so things are changing. I
think of Ziyech. I think it's a mobility situation as well, and it's Tuchel as well. Tuchel is so. I think with a lot of players, right? Tuchel loves that the wing backs. He loves the 3 at the back of the wing backs, and he loves mobility. And I'm sorry, Ziyech is one of those players who likes to get the ball, look up, and see and pick his passes because he likes time on the ball. He's got a good, beautiful left foot. when in that system, there's no time for him to play. And in Arsenal as well, the way Arteta's asking us to play, because I still think his style of play, you know, I'm trying to work it out. I still see a lot of David Moyes in there. But if Arteta is to be released, and we are going to be playing that progressive football where we're in people's faces like Man City and Liverpool do, and we're on the turnovers and we're trying to hit teams on a great pace. I don't see Ziyech being able to get in that side unless we're playing in a European game where we have to slow the momentum down.
I'm saying depth.
Definitely depth. If you want to change your style, then he's brilliant. But in terms of like getting that, because Dave, as far what I want when we sign players, I don't want squad players, but I want someone to get in that first team who's going to make us better, because that's what we ultimately need if we are. Yeah. Because I keep on this. The theme of this show is always going to be there isn't a top 4 number; it's a top 6, which means there's no margin for error. You know. Yeah. To a certain extent, that once you're in the ascendancy for the top 4 or winning the title, you've got to take your chances, because, you know, it's a very, this league we're in, no one gives a monkeys about your reputation. Anyone you could date, there's loads of teams like Crystal Palace in that league who think, yeah, so what? All right, I feel really good today. I can go Anfield and get a result. I can go and get a result, because they have. They have
no respect in the Premier League anymore, bro. Nobody respects anyone.
No fear.
Yeah. So really and truly, you have to be at it. And even when you're not playing well, you have to have that kind of quality that's going to win you that game. And then think, look, because I'm telling you now, this Friday it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. You're going to be exhausted watching it, because Crystal Palace is going to be at it in our faces, down that left-hand side. You know, Mitchell and Zaha are going to be at us 24/7, 90 minutes. That's where you're going to see the best of us. They're going to be putting their foot in. They're going to look at, oh yeah, Odegaard, do you want some space? You're not having it. Earn it. So it's going to be and these are the sort of situations where you have to be at your best. You have to have genuine quality. And it hasn't been a gap in quality. There are going to be some teams that are pathetic, like, you know, who are basically going to
Tottenham.
Yeah. But there's not. The problem is, not enough of them are like that.
Like Spurs, pathetic, useless, shit. Crap.
The thing is, I think in the back of our minds, you know, the sensible sides of us know that they're a strong outfit, and that, you know, they've got a great gate manager, and that, you know, they've done a Rafinha in that. You know, you've got Kulusevski, you've got Kane, you've got Song, but they still sign Richarlison, which means there's quality there. You know, he's going to have to fight. They're all under pressure for their places. You know, if they sign a bad boy centre forward, Harry Kane's going to think, you know what, I've lost the yard of pace now, because I'm being a bit of a Peter Beardsley than that centre forward. Maybe so. That's the mentality that they're trying to get, and I want that for Arsenal, because, you know, next season is going to be. You know, I don't think we're probably, if we get the chance to get in the top 4, we've got to take it, because it's 100%. Top 6 now.
It's top 4 for me. My season expectations for this one: Champions League or bust. Champions League or bust. I'm going to put on the table. I don't care how we get in the Champions League, whether we either win the Europa or we finish in the top 4, but it's Champions League.
Ask him the question. I know the question you're thinking. Ask it to him, Ozzy. Ask him.
Okay. So it's Champions League or bust, right? Now, this wasn't going to happen, but now it's got to happen. Now, I'm going to say something to you. The bare minimum that this manager has to accomplish. Now, everyone's going to come and probably say their bare minimum. And this is why my bare minimum is a prick. I want us to bare minimum win the Europa League. Now, this is why. You got to hear me first. The Europa League and a 4th position in the Premier League. Why 4th? Because that's progress. And if I don't see progress in the Premier League, you can get fucked. And if I don't win the Europa League, I don't want Champions League. Now, this is why. For us to be able to even compete in the Champions League, when we're in Europa and we can't win Europa, well, then it's pointless. We're in a position now, we're playing Europa League. We should be good enough, and we should all pretty much here saying we should be good enough not to compete in Europa. But we should be the ones coming in and saying we're going to win this. And I think Arsenal have to win the Europa League, because that's sort of a foundation for us to continue that same sort of success in Europe. If we can't even win the Europa League, right? Are we going to go back to being a team that just fights for top 4 only to get knocked out in the round of fucking 16 in the Champions League and we say, whoop-de-doo, we got in the Champions League and got fucked on by Bayern Munich again? I want to see, if we're going to be in Europe, it's either we're going to go in there to compete, not there to make up numbers like Spurs. Is that not fair enough?
No, not for me.
No? So you'd be happy not to win anything and just finish 4th?
No. Look, you
because you're wearing the wrong jersey. If that's the truth,
your words. I want to see progress.
Yep.
Right. We now this season are not just playing our Premier League matches. We're also having to juggle and play that European football as well. Not the European football we deserve. Right?
No. We're playing the European football we deserve. I'm sorry. No, we deserve to play that European football.
I'm talking as a club. A club. You can't sit there and slander me for wanting to start Martinelli and not wanting to win, but then say we don't deserve Champions League football as a club, boys. Now, to win the Europa League is not. You're making it sound too easy.
No, I'm not. It's not easy. It's a must.
You don't know who's dropping out of the Champions League, and don't forget Champions League teams drop in there as well. You don't know who might have a clanger in the group stage and fall. For me, and this is just my personal opinion, as long as not this season, next, we're in the Champions League, I don't care, because the Cronkies have shown the funds are being made available for the gaffer, and I would like to see what or who we can attract with Champions League football available, because we are signing. None of us can sit here and say the club's not signing players, because we are now signing players, right? It's Champions League or bust. I don't care how we get there. Top 4 or winning that. I would prefer to win a trophy and get there, but that's my minimum, bare minimum.
He's being nice.
Well, the thing is, Arsenal can't call themselves a bit. Arsenal's European record is abysmal for a club of our size. 2 European pots is embarrassing. 1970 we won the Internet Cities Fairs Cup, being Anderlecht, and then a lot of people I know were in Copenhagen 24 years later, and that's it's then not a pot. So from a pride thing, we have to win the Europa League, and as we have to get in the top 4. That's the bare minimum because of the money we spent. That since 2018, since they got full control, we've spent not just money, a lot of money on transfers, but salaries as well. We've made 2 players one of the highest paid players in the Premiership, so which means the money's there. Arsenal have got pots of money, and they are spending it because they damn right have to. Because they don't, we'll be after them because we know where the money's gone. You can't say you ain't got no money when you've moved from a 38,000 seat stadium to a 60,000 seat stadium and rising. So that means you've got extra revenue of the extra 22 to 23,000 seats. The money's there, the match day revenue's there. Plus, you had long participation in the Champions League most of the time at the Emirates. So you're getting the prize money from Europe and the prize money from TV as well. The money's there, so there's no excuses. But in terms of like winning the top 4 or bust, Arsenal have to, win the Europa League and get in the top 4. Edu stopped short of saying we had a challenge. Didn't want to commit on that because he knows that Liverpool, Man City are still strong. If you watched the Community Shield yesterday, you could see that we're still the 2 best teams in the country. Are still those 2. So, yeah, it was a brilliant game of football. Both teams played beautiful play and missed chances. And both teams on it looked good defensively. But it was just like Liverpool just were more clinical. But saying that, I want the Europa League badly want it. I won't settle for anything else less. I want top 4, but I want Arsenal to challenge for every cup. I'm not having that Nottingham Forest rubbish again. I'm not tolerating that. That's intolerable. Intolerable.
Embarrassing is what it was.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Then.
Yes.
Both that. So before I say what I will expect, I'll ask you.
Shit! Here we go.
This is just the Aussie and Kenny.
He's gonna touch us.
Let's say, for example, let's say we finish 3rd and don't win the Europa League. Should Arteta leave?
Question, mate. You've got him speechless.
I'm not happy with that.
You know what?
And what we should
I
sack the manager.
I don't think. Well, the thing is, I don't think Arteta is the manager is going to win me the Champions League and he's going to win me the league. That's just my personal opinion. I think the bigger names than me. But if you want to go by fairness and you want to be fair, I can see him staying and people seeing that's progress because the club
will keep him.
Kenny, you don't be a politician. You said I can see people. I'm asking you, Kenny Ken, not people.
He's gone. He goes.
All right,
fuck off.
All right.
Would you be
as
okay
you say,
with him
you call us a young. I don't want him in a job full stop. He should never have got. He should have been sacked after that season where we finished 8th during the lockdown season, and maybe had it not been a season afterwards where everyone was hugging each other because we haven't seen each other for a year and 18 months,
and everyone got COVID.
Together. I mean, I'm not too funny. Right, one of the biggest myths ever is that we're all together as fans, and we are to a certain extent in your particular group, but we were just so glad about football. So we're accepting everything. We're accepting, the Saka and Smith Rowe song, status quo. We're expecting the North London Forever song. That rubbish as well.
That's fucked.
Has no reputation.
One of the song is fucked.
Songs I've ever heard. It's not. It's got no representation of North London, which I'm from.
No mention
it
of
talks
Arsenal
about,
as well.
the areas.
No, there isn't.
Oh no, not at all. But we take it. Yeah, let's have Walk Alone and
I hate that song. Don't please.
It's so shit.
I swear,
shit.
It's fucked.
One of the biggest pile of shit I've ever heard. North London Forever. I'd rather have the Paddy song. Represents we had 7 Irishmen inside. Not that rubbish, but what I'm trying to say now.
Oh fuck.
I don't think Arteta is going to be the man to take us further, and I still think that he is extremely likely to be in the job. But he is a man in possession. And, he is there to prove me wrong. Will he prove me wrong when we finish 3rd? Depends where we finish. If we're in a championship race, I think, all right, well done, good luck to you. You worked your nuts off, so I've got respect for you. Because let's face it, I've got no disrespect for Arteta. The fact that he's got the balls to actually take the job.
Yeah.
I think, right, respect to that. I don't like his methods. I don't like his management. I'm not completely understanding of his choice of captain. The Xhaka thing, I don't get that Xhaka is a leader and everything, but I want him to evolve from that. And sometimes, I still see a little bit of David Moyes in him. But the thing that puts me off him more than everything else is the lack of experience. It's not that's the main thing that I do think. But saying that, if he proves me wrong and Arsenal winning, of course I'm going to be putting up posters of us winning trophies because I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, that's it. If Arteta,
what
are you thinking, Nigel? Now you tell me, bro. Actually, you said you were going to answer that question. Yeah, I've said it. If he doesn't win the Europa League and finish 4th, he can fuck off.
But I asked you about the 3rd place. What are you going to say? If he finishes 3rd, you still want him to lose the job?
And doesn't win the Europa League?
Yeah.
No, fuck off.
Oh my gosh, you're lying to yourself, Ozzy.
No, you know why? You know why? Because this squad that we've got now with the number 8, listen to me, hear me this. Hear me out on this. Let me land. This squad right now with a number 8, you give me a number 8 in Tielemens, no other wingers, and I get someone like Massimo Allegri to come in and take care of this squad. You're telling me he won't win Europa with that squad? Allegri would.
No, because he's not won anything in Europe. So what are you basing that on, bro?
Allegri would get a tune. Allegri would get a tune out of this squad. Allegri could get a tune.
He's got to one European final with such a great Juventus squad, bro.
They play Barcelona, though. They play Barcelona with a front three of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez.
I hear you, but this is the thing, yeah. I hear you, but this is the thing. Like one thing that I would never say I'm as far as Lee Gunner when it comes to his opinion on the club, but I do agree with a lot of the things that he says. I don't like it when he celebrates us losing and all sorts because I'm a bit off that person. I'll never do that. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But what I'll say, I'll be honest with you, Kenny. Last summer, I made a decision for mental health reasons. This is how I'm going to approach Arsenal because by picking Arteta, the board told me that we're not ambitious when it comes to a manager, innit? So for me, I can't blame Arteta.
No, He's got no blame for this. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so
I agree.
he's come in, and I just evaluated. Look, it looks like they're backing this guy. So what do I expect from this guy? Not from Arsenal Football Club. What do I expect from this guy to get out of Arsenal? Because that's who the board have decided to back. If they wanted a quick fix, they would have gone for more experience for me. Precisely. So I'm looking at him with a little bit of a different eye. So my target last season was top 6 because I believe we were 2 players short from top 4, which I guess a cover from Partey and Tierney, we could have got top 4. So I was kind of writing a little bit. So for this season, I've given him the target. He has to get me Champions League football. Has to. And I'm not.
Can't he win a trophy as well? Can't he win a trophy?
We'll get there. We'll get there. So I'm not as far as Scott in terms of any way. So if he finishes 7th and wins the Europa League, I'm not okay with that. He's got to jog on because that says we're the 7th best team in the league. And
that's scary.
So for me,
definitely.
The bare minimum I want is he has to either finish top 4 and a trophy, or he can finish 5th and win the Europa League. That's my bare minimum for him. If he finishes 5th and wins the Europa League.
Is that acceptable, though? Is that acceptable?
Look,
because
for me,
why can't we do a different thing then? Why can't we say, thanks, mate. Thanks for winning the first European trophy, and get someone else in for the Champions League and take us that further, which other clubs have done.
Do you know why, Ken? Do you know why, Ken?
We've done that, yeah.
Because for the sheer fact is, it's because of the targets the board are telling us they're giving him. So that target was to get him into the Champions League. So for that, it doesn't make sense for them to sack him.
But you asked. But the thing is, you've asked our opinion, not the board. You know what I mean? So like, we've got to take the board and put them aside for now. But you're right.
But guys, what about the guy on the transfer committee who's the most important thing, who's basically procuring players for us, who's basically said, you know, he's talking, he actually went on the sort of chronological, order of how things are, and he's suggesting this is the final season where there's no more excuses, everything's in place. So
all or nothing.
If we finish 5th and we win the Europa League, that's an hard sell after what the Edu has said, because Edu, who's on that, don't get me wrong, the transfer committee consists of Edu, Mertesacker, Arteta, Josh, and Vinay. Now, Arteta is responsible for all football matters of the club, around the football club, especially the first team. Now, if he finishes 5th again, but we win in Europe, if we're going by, if we're using the same mantra as saying, well, the only way you can define progress is if by your league possession. Then if we finish 5th, then there hasn't been progress. It's the same as last season. All right, we won a cup, and we've got a Champions League. We celebrate.
A European Cup, something that only
we won a European Cup, which I'm desperate for. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, right, in the league, where eventually I'm going to say, well, hang on, we need to challenge for the league now because I'm greedy.
So am I.
We may say, well, I'm going to say, well, thanks, mate. Thanks for you've done 3 years. You worked your nuts off. You spent so much money. You won the FA Cup, won Europa League. But where it comes to the league, we don't think you're going to get us that far. And it's not better managers than him have been given a sort of like Dear John letter. Let's not forget what happened with Del Bosque, where he got his deal with John letter. And what about Heinkes?
We're not Real Madrid, Kenny. We're not Real Madrid. But
all right. Heinkes at Bayern, he got his Dear John letter when he won the lot, including the Champions League, because Pep was coming. So I think what's happening is that I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but ultimately, Arsenal Football Club, every podcast we have in 2023, 2024, 2025, without winning the league, it's going to be, we're going to get into 20 years without winning the thing. And that's got to be a concern.
For sure.
Yeah. You know what I'm liking at the moment? It's weird how I split this shit up, where it's me and Kenny Ken are both saying fucking 4th position in Europa, and Scott and fucking Niger are both fucking tooting and horn about just give me Champions League. Now, guys, I didn't mean to do that shit because I didn't know what was going to happen, but fuck, it turned out all right. There's a balance in this, a balance.
For sure. I think both sides have good arguments, but I believe me and Scott's are stronger.
And you know what, boys? At the end of the day, we all want the same thing:
success.
We all want to be winning the Premier League. We want to be winning that Premier League. Yeah. We want to get back into the Champions League, and we want to do what we hadn't done since 2006, get back into the finals, the big matches that matter. I think
Facts.
just where we're differing is about where our expectations fall in terms of how long it's going to take us to get there. Now, for me, I mean, we were saying earlier, Liverpool and City are still both levels above us, and we've spent copious amounts of money, yeah? We've still got a long way to go, and I just see being in the Champions League, just being in it, not winning it, not yet. I think being in it is a really good step to help progress us to get there, because getting into that Champions League makes us a more attractive proposition to potential free agents or to other players. It helps all those young players who haven't played in the Champions League before to get that medal in them, get that experience. I just think for me, getting there's the first priority. And then once we're there, what the hell are we going to do with it? Let's do something with the experience of being here and start competing for a title or competing for a UCL or something like that. I'm not saying let's just get to the Champions League, cut a cake, celebrate, and sing
Spursy.
that North London Forever song.
Not Spursy.
I'm just saying let's get there, and let's use getting there to propel us to where the club needs to be.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you there that going into the Champions League is going to allow us to, maybe attract better players. I feel you. But I look at the opportunity we have now in Europa, and I call it an opportunity, right? An opportunity for Arsenal to come in. We haven't had European football for a while now. But isn't it a statement? Wouldn't you say it was fucking making a statement where Arsenal come into the Europa League and just give me that, because we're taking that. I want to see Arsenal come in. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine they come in and say, mine, and who's coming in second? Because none of you guys are going to come in first. That's what I'm taking. You figure out what you guys are going to do with second. That's what I want from Arsenal. And I know it's being selfish, but remember, no one here is a Spurs fan. No one. Our expectations for this club will not be as low as a Spurs fan, because I can't see that low. Okay, I can't. I'm getting old and shit. So the problem I have is that, don't get me wrong, not to lower our expectations, but why shouldn't we think we can compete? We can, maybe it's a lesser European competition. Why can't we put that upon him and say that's a minimum?
Ozzy, we to be honest, I know we have all it takes.
We got it. We can do this.
Don't get it twisted. I mean, even if people will laugh at us as I'm saying this, like we only have to look at who the final was between last season to see that anything can happen in that competition. And you can't tell me we're not better than Frankfurt and Rangers. Like, come on, we can definitely win that competition.
The might of Frankfurt and Rangers.
Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I would love for us to have that season Chelsea did when they last won the Europa, where they secured top 4 and won the Europa. Like, it gives us a whole different type of swagger. Don't get me wrong. Summer, I'm going to be a little bit more unbearable than I was this summer. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so, but if he finishes 5th and gets that for me, I believe he deserves a chance to try himself in the Champions League. Okay. And just like Kenny said, and he hit spot on, I do not believe Arteta will get us to win the league and Champions League. I still think he's going to lay a foundation, and the next guy is going to take us to the next level.
Yeah.
But for me, if he gets Champions League this season, I want it to be now that the Champions League is a given. What's next, isn't it? We're a Champions League team again now. What's next?
Yeah.
And that's going to be where we really start to judge Arteta.
Yeah, you want that
shot. Same with Arsene as well. So it's the same with Arsene. One of the reasons why I wanted Arsene to be removed is because I wanted Arsene removed, and I was going to shock a lot of you. After that semi-final defeat in Man United, 2009, I wanted him out. Now, it took 9 years for him to go. And the reason why it took 9 years for him to go, we were a solid Champions League side by that time. We were in it for about 11 years. And I was seeing us falling away from being able to win a Champions League under his chairmanship. Because remember, I was in Paris a few years before that, and I was seeing us winning leagues. And I was seeing a gap getting bigger between ourselves outside Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea. And I was seeing how, particularly Chelsea, were beating us to the extent they said, let Arsenal have the ball. And then what we'll do is, because of our defensive mindset and the fact that we can hit them on the counter-attack, we're going to win the game. And it was quite comfortable the way we're losing them, and even Man United at times. And I've seen the gap getting
Horrible.
bigger. Hence the fact I want Arsenal to go, because the same point that Nigel Englishman mentioned, we're, and in which everyone's mentioned, we're a solid Champions League team, but hang on here, we're competing in it, because there's going to be a situation when we do get a Champions League where we're going to start thinking, well, you know what, we actually want to win one of these, because I don't know about you, but I got sick and tired of Arsene Wenger when we got the semi-finals.
Oh,
and
fuck me!
You
knew you were going to get knocked out.
And how exasperated I was when we got on the top, we got in the last 16, and we knew we were going to lose. But then again, we played Monaco. Monaco.
That's the worst.
That's
thing.
a
Monaco.
Mate,
Monaco.
Exactly.
2015. Don't get wrong, Monaco went on to have a great tournament. Didn't win it, but had a great tournament. But we had Monaco.
Yeah.
And you know, remember the go from Kondogbia, and they had that great midfield. You know, at the time we realized was a great team. Yeah. But you know, and I think they murdered us. So and that even then, I was Wenger out for 6 years. So we don't want to get in that situation where we got to try it. And I know this is the biggest elephant in the room, and I shouldn't be bringing this up, you know, with Steve, Scott, and Nigel Englishman, but let's be. We're all men here, and we're all honest people. As much as we hate Chelsea, as much as we hate Spurs, at least they went and had a go at trying to win the bloody thing. When was the last time we had a go at doing it? That's embarrassing.
Early 2000s.
Chelsea won it twice, and they won it twice. And they only went out in the group stages once. Last 16, they and when they go out without a fight, that lot Tottenham. Come on. First season, they finished up. They got further than us and lost to a great Real Madrid team, who didn't get on and win it. And then and then after that, they've been having a go at this. All right, the last season where, you know, they got done by Bayern Munich 7-2. That was embarrassing. But if you look at it for the small periods, they've looked better in it than us. And that's one of the things where, you know, complacency was going to get in, and that's why. After Arsene Wenger, regardless of whether you're an Arteta out or an Arteta in, you can't have complacency ever again at this football club. And I think under Mikel, we're getting into that situation when we're getting complacent and we're not getting that to that level. We're not making too many demands. We're very accepting of the pundits' view of Arsenal. Oh yeah, this is their level. You know, be grateful. And we're very accepting of ex-players saying, well, you know, we're doing a great job when you finish in 7th, you finish in 8th. Is a big club of our size the fifth best placed country and best team in the country? That's what we're saying. And that's why I'm going to say the demands have to be higher. We have to be, we can be realistic, but how long does realistic last for? You know,
but this is make or break season, Kenny Ken. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. This is make or break season, but you're still going to get fans who are going to, at the end of the season, say, well, that's all right. Well, you know, 5th ain't too bad, you know, considering what we were like under Unai Emery, and you know, the excuses.
I hope he doesn't get to that, to be honest. And Arteta
it's there now, though. It's there now, though. The expectations are not high enough where we're getting excited about the pre-season, but what we have in our subconscious, we're thinking, you know what, you know, I saw a bit of good football. It wasn't too bad, blah blah. You know, I was satisfied. You know, maybe that's our level. You know, even though we're spending millions and millions of pounds, no, we can't compete with Man City. No, we can't compete with Liverpool. You know, you've got to be realistic, man. Don't be feeling so entitled. That's the bullshit you're going to hear.
It's a fact. I mean, look, it's happening now. People are starting to think, you know, you shouldn't be too entitled. Just because you were successful once upon a time doesn't mean you're going to be successful now. But that doesn't necessarily mean we want this for our club. So as Arsenal fans, we have seen trophies, we've seen fucking gold ones, and we have seen doubles. We've seen some great players, and we want to see that again. I mean, like I said, we're not Spurs fans.
For sure.
Like, I look at the season coming up now, and I'm excited. I don't know about you guys. I'm excited about the season kicking off fucking finally, to be honest. Now I know that this window, our transfer window, in my mind, I'm gonna throw this last one out there, guys. Do you guys actually see? And this is all honesty. Before I fucking finish up, I just want to ask one question. Do you guys actually see us signing any players moving forward? And this is no, we should. But are we actually going to do it? Because we've been dragging our feet for a long fucking time. We've done our business early, and now we're doing sweet fuck all. Do you guys think, and this is what I'm worried, do you guys think we're going to sign a centre midfielder, or are we going to start the season like we did last year and go, maybe we can wing it? Because it feels as if we've got opportunities to sign Tielemens, to sign players, and what we're doing is we're going to go for Malinkovic Savic. We all know it's not going to happen. You know what I mean? We're looking at players that are out there. The season's around the corner. Our midfield is still bare, and we haven't made a real moves. I just want to ask this last question. Do you truly believe that we're going to make a midfield signing, not a winger, a midfield signing, because it's important, by the end of the fucking transfer window? In all honesty, I just want to know, because I honestly am starting to think, fuck no. I don't see it happen. I'm starting to feel as if it won't happen. I'm scared that it won't happen.
Who's going first?
Scott, you're going first. Step in your mouth. Do you really believe that we're going to make a signing of a centre midfielder this transfer window? Because if I feel as if
specifically a centre midfielder, not a signing, a central midfielder specifically, yeah.
It's going to be an attacking. It's going to be a number 8, not an attacking mid, number 8, because that's what we need. I mean, Xhaka is just Xhaka.
I think we'll sign a centre mid. I don't think it'll be Tielemens. I think it's going to be something like the Vieira transfer, something that just comes out of left field that you hadn't really heard much about. I do think one more will come. I'm hoping someone does. I think it will be like seasonal suicide to not have any depth there. I'm praying we do, and I do think we will. They can't be that naive.
I'm with okay. I'm Nigel. Are you thinking that we are going to make a signing in the mid? Because do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit fucking.
This is what I'll say. I'll say, do you know what? It will be kind of stupid for. I think we'll still sign 2 players.
Period. You think 2? Okay.
I think we're going to sign 2 players before the end of the window. One will be like some fun that will get us excited. The other one will be like we're not too sure about. I just don't know if it's going to be the winger or the central midfielder that's going to be that. But I do believe one of them is going to be a big-ish signing, because Arteta, I mean, Edu came with a little too much swagger in that interview for him not to have something up his sleeve. Like, I just he seems like the type of guy that I'm only bragging because I know what's coming. He seems like that type of guy, if that makes sense.
So he's already done it, and he's like, I'm just not going to tell everyone now.
Basically, so I definitely think we'll get a CM. I'm just not confident it's definitely going to be Tielemens, just like Scott was saying, but we'll definitely get a CM.
Scares me,
a winger, I think.
The Tielemens thing scares me at the moment. I don't know about you, Kenny Ken. What do you reckon? Do you think we're gonna make something? Because at the moment I'm like, 1 minute I'm like, it should happen, it's got to happen, it makes sense. The other time I'm thinking it's not going to be another Arsenal where we just fucking drag the time out and do nothing. What are you thinking?
The thing is, we've got until like the 1st of December, and that's
it's a long time. It is, yeah,
a long time. I think what's happening is it's just like last season. We will make signings. You know, the club will say we've always had this in mind, but you know. Our club are very good at the odd panic buy, you know, and you know one of the things that you guys mentioned as well, you know, both Scott and Nigel Englishman mentioned as well, is the World Cup and the African nations. You know, don't be surprised if January's an area or a window that we're going to be looking at as well, because you don't know what state your player's going to come back from in January. From the World Cup and the fact that they've got to go to the African nations. But this season depends on the first 5 games, isn't it?
That's what I'm worried about. If we do well, they might say, we're fine.
Yeah, but even if we don't do well, we could get an injury. Or if we let's not forget the start of the 2011-2012 season where results were catastrophic. It's remember the 8-2 against Man United, and then all of a sudden we had Mertesacker, Santos, Arteta, Benayoun. They're just the 4 I can remember. There was quite a few more sizes on deadline day. So, we have been known to do that, where we have thought, well, right, let's get our targets, and let's not forget, Mesut Ozil came in on deadline day, isn't it? 2 years after that, where Arsene Wenger said, "I've got a present for you." I'll tell you one thing, it didn't turn out how I liked, but I don't know about you guys, but I was completely excited when I heard he was coming. I actually forgot that we actually needed a striker for one, because that's what I really wanted, you know, players like Higuain and, you know, Luis Suarez. But when Mesut Ozil came, I thought I was expecting, 20 goals, 20 assists and 15 goals a season.
I ordered that jersey so quickly, man. God, I ordered that jersey quickly, Kenny.
We all did, you know.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Well, guys, I think we've lost Niger. I think Niger's had to step out. Look, on that note,
I think there's a power cut in Nigeria. I think NEPA in Nigeria cut off the power. No, seriously, in Nigeria, because they have we call it NEPA. So basically, they save electricity in Nigeria, and the same with other countries in the Indian subcontinent. Power cuts, it's genuine, mate, genuine. Yeah. So what's happening is a lot of the places in Nigeria, and they have a generator where if they cut the electricity, you've got to pay for a generator, and then
oh fuck, you got to plug in, sort of thing.
Yeah, so NEPA, I think NEPA has cut. Maybe he's done it.
Poor Niger's gone. But guys, look, I'm hoping that we make a centre midfield signing. I really do. I wouldn't mind if we just got a centre midfielder and didn't get a winger. If that's to happen, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to be greedy. I would like to have 2 players, but if we get one as a decent number 8, and look, I've been pushing for Tielemens. He's my favourite number 8 option. But if it isn't Tielemens, but it's another player of quality to sit in that position, I'm going to be happy because I want to see Arsenal do well. And I think everybody here does too. We've got our first game coming up, and I'm hoping that we can, hit the ground running with 3 points. I think we can.
I mean, our game,
it ain't going to be easy.
I'm going to be in away end. I'll tell you one thing.
Oh fuck! You're going.
I'll tell you one thing, right? Yeah, I was there in April when we lost 3-0. I've been going to Crystal Park for a good few years. Do you remember the game where poor old Hector Bellerin went to get the ball and he got a ton of abuse from our fans?
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Oh yeah. I was in.
Were you one of them?
That crowd. I wasn't abusing. I genuinely believe I'm one of those players, right? Even though I'm very critical of the manager. Win, lose or draw, I'll give them a clap, because as far as I'm concerned, they put on a shirt and they give me 90 minutes. I will not be leaving at night after. I will not be leaving before the final whistle, like a lot of people did at Crystal Palace and Tottenham. I'm dead to the end, and the players get a hand. I clap the players off, because as far as I'm concerned, they put the shirt on. Don't get me wrong. I'll batter them afterwards, but on the pitch, I'm going to give them a hand, because I think that's the right thing to do for me.
Yeah, it's respectful. It's respectful. It's respectful.
I respect them, because they're trying to help some I love so much do well. So I will give them. I'll clap them off. I won't give them the catcalls or boos, because I just think it's wrong. But then again, I respect fans who do that, because there's 2 ways you can show your passion.
They're disheartened,
and there's not a right way to do things. It's just your supporters' experience. That's all it is.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more. Guys, on that note, I'm just going to say one thing. Don't forget, Scott Borg is on the IFT pod. That is a fucking great show, and we're going to be doing some bits and pieces on the football capital tomorrow. If you haven't subbed to that channel, you have to. I'm telling you now, you have to, because if you don't, I'm going to have to come back.
As Butcher with his silence.
Just talking nonsense, mate.
He's chatting shit. And you know what? Tomorrow, Scott, we'll go down there. We'll have a chat to him about all that.
We'll sort him out.
But you know what?
Keep saying 22 is coming, Kenny.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't think about if you make it right. It's something about them, right? Is that I think it's just the Stockholm syndrome, where because even though you know that it hasn't been the best since 2013 when Sir Alex left.
Syndrome, yeah.
Because we've been battered by them, and they won so many trophies. You still think that they're a major force. because of the size of their club.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's very much like, and I had that a lot with Liverpool in the 80s, where because of the fact that they were so dominant, the same sort of Stockholm syndrome where I couldn't let go of their greatness, even though it wasn't apparent that they were great anymore. And I think maybe if the similar thing happens to Chelsea, I'm still going to be scarred by the batterings, hammering.
20 years of fucking
6-0. I mean, I was there when Arsene Wenger's 1,000th game at Stamford Bridge in the away end, and we lost 6-0.
Pumped.
I mean, how I got over that, I'll never get over that. So there's always going to be a Stockholm syndrome when it comes to, what they call fading giants. That's why when a Butcher tells me Man United are going to get great, I don't argue with him because I've got scars from Sir Alex, even though it's apparent that they're not so they were before.
Oh fuck! You know what? Look, I can understand that because Man United to me will always be a threat, mainly because of the battles we've had.
Yeah.
But look, guys, I'd like to thank you all for jumping on this show today. Hopefully, we'll have a few more coming up throughout the season. Like I said, Scotty, thank you for coming on. Kenny Ken, it's always a pleasure for you to be on here.
It's brilliant. I'm joining the Commonwealth Games anyway.
Oh well, yeah, and you got Arsenal going to win the Europa League, so it's a win-win.
No, you Aussies are doing brilliant in the Commonwealth Games. You always do anyway.
We're not too bad. We're not too bad. Bad. We're also good at cricket as well, but we won't go there. And guys, Nigerian English.
Like cricket.
Nah, I fucking hate the game. I really do. It's fucking boring, man. But Nigerian Englishman was with us as well, guys. He's had to leave, but you know what? His show is called One Touch TV. If you haven't sub up because he's great. You'll see me there from time to time. And I'd like to say, look, from the whole panel, from me, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And guys, it's Uru, guys. Uru.
Faru, whatever that means.